Hey Brandon, how you doing? I got your work up here. Thank you so much for including your work. I do just want to mention at this point there are some missing requirements, and we'll go over those, and I'll give you a really good idea of where we're at and where we need to be. The first thing I want to do is kind of reduce this a little bit to fit it in the screen. All right, there we go. Okay, so great logo, by the way. Nice work. Um, Okay, so what do we have? We have a problem statement, ideation, and problem. That's great, but we go straight to persona and scenario, and that's good, but don't forget in this process book, we have to also include everything that was due for from week one. So, a process book is a continuing process, work in progress. So it's reasonable to say that the work from week two should include work from week one. Work from week three should include work from weeks 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Again, let me rephrase that. Week 2 should include all of the requirements from week 1 and week 2. Week 3 should include all the requirements from weeks 1, 2, and 3, and so on and so forth. So the reason I say that is because we're missing some things from week 1, specifically the target audience, the 3 main functions for the app, and then the competition, including pros and cons of each. Okay, so week 2, we've got ideation and problem. That's fantastic. Good job. We go straight to personas, and you've got these personas. You've got one persona. You've got this listed as personas and scenarios, but there is no scenario here. Save chat. Let me see. You have to buy. Actually, looks like it is a combination of a persona and a scenario. You want to differentiate the two. You want to establish a persona. So a persona gives the demographic information. It gives the characteristics of the individual in the persona that falls within the target audience. So you want to define that. Then what you want to do is take that individual depicted in a persona and put them into a scenario. So so basically, the scenario could be Jason trying to text with iMessage on his Android, okay, and how this app would rectify the problems associated with that specific scenario. Okay, so again, and I'll show you examples of scenarios in one, I'm sorry, personas and scenarios in 1 second. Okay, so you go straight to wireframes. Now, these wireframes are digital. I don't recommend digital. Actually, I should say digital wireframes are okay. It's as long as you transpose the user prototypes into actual sketches, and I'll show you more on that in a second. You have a storyboard here, but this isn't a storyboard. The storyboard should depict the scenario based on the persona. That's what the storyboard is, okay? So you're creating a storyboard of the scenario where is the user. Basically, you can show where the user is or what the user is doing when they are confronting and overcoming their problem using your app, okay? So that's a scenario. A persona is just depicting the individual as a representative from your target audience. Okay, again, I'll show you some examples in a second. Wireframes, these are all screens. I mean, you've got, looks like you would have to have a basic setup screen where you actually show your account and create your account and your password, etc. Then start going in and your contacts page, etc., etc. So this is not a depiction of all the screens associated with this app. You've got 2 chat pages. I'm not real sure. I mean, showing one is fine. You don't have to show a separate one with the keyboard, but excuse me. But you definitely want to depict all screens in the wireframes. And I'll show you that in a second. Again, this is a flow chart. This is not a storyboard. Sketches, these are sketches. Looks like you've got sketches of some of the screens, but not all. And again, this is important. So let me show you a presentation that would be absolutely complete for this point in the project. So here's the introduction page. Here's the problem statement. Okay, the solution statement. The 3 main functions, and again, this is recap from week 1. Then over here is the target market, including demographics, needs, behaviors, and values. So the target market is defined to a very, very high degree, which is excellent. Competition, both pros and cons of the competitors. Now we have our personas. And this is a persona. And by the way, this example is available for you to review in the announcement, week 2 announcement. It's called examples for week 2 or something like that. But anyway, that's over in the course announcement. So you can open this and look at it yourself. So here's a persona. Note that it shows everything, it depicts everything that is relevant to her being a member of the target audience. Here's 2, here's 3 personas. I recommend 3 personas. At the very least, we'd like to see 2, but I recommend 3. Now, what you do for your scenarios is you take an individual from a persona and you put them into a scenario. Okay, give a good couple written sentences describing the scenario. But what you want to do is you want to establish this storyboard based on a scenario where where is the user when they're confronting the situation, and how has your app overcome that problem? Okay, then we have, these are paper prototypes. Now note the wireframe sketches. All right, look how completely detailed each one is, an exact rendering of what that specific page would look like. Okay, note each page is included as well. That's important, and the reason that's important is because these will turn into your prototype, your paper prototypes. So each screen here would be sketched out. You would cut these sketches out, okay? And then what you would do for your paper prototypes is you would start an interface, like here's a depiction of the phone, and each of those screens that you cut out from your wireframes fit in here to this prototype, and then you can ask questions regarding the user testing stage of the project, right? So you would ask, okay, at this point you would say, okay, how would you set up your user profile and username, password, etc. And then the user would point, the test subject would point to where they think they would click to get to that specific area. And of course you would record that information as either being accurate or inaccurate. If it's inaccurate, you would consider making changes to the interface to make it a little bit more easy for the test subject to complete the tasks that you're mentioning. Okay, so that's really important. So you can see paper prototypes here are exactly, every screen is depicted. And so this is set up beautifully for the user testing stage of the project. So at the very least, I would like to see you at this point right now in the actual project. Unfortunately, I will say this: when you submit your work, consider submitting early in the week. That way we can get feedback to you by, if we wait till Friday or Saturday, especially Sunday, you're not going to have a chance to get any feedback. So you won't be able to make any necessary changes. So for example, there are some missing requirements here. So those could have been rectified if this had been submitted a little bit earlier. I know you submitted it on, yeah, it was submitted on Sunday, so there was just probably no way to get feedback in that short turnaround of time. So consider submitting a little bit earlier in the week. All right, great job. Thank you very much. If you have any questions at all, please let me know. Thanks, Brandon.